Hi, this is Joseph Williams, son of John Williams, and you are watching the Nerfherder Council.
What's up, guys? Welcome to another episode of the Nerfherder Council. I am your host, JT. We are live on our Facebook and YouTube channel, as well as that of the Virtual Cantina Network, that being their Facebook page and their YouTube channel. If you are on either of those YouTube locations, please don't forget to click the like button, click the subscribe button, and hit the notification bell so that you are notified every time we go live. We are also up on our Twitch page, the official Twitch page of the Nerfherder Council, where we just get a shitload of traffic. Our show has bad language, so if you're not into that, you've been warned by me swearing. Anyways, guys, as usual, we are brought to you by Audible. Go to audibletrial.com/NHC for your 30-day trial and a free audiobook download. If you would like to get some awesome Virtual Cantina Network swag, just go to tpublic.com/user/virtual-cantina. And for some kick-ass customizable Nerfherder Council gear, which who doesn't want that? It's amazing. It's amazing. It's perfect for all those awesome cons coming up here this summer and next year at Celebration. Just go to shop.nerfherdercouncil.com. Without further ado, bring on my esteemed co-host, my best buddy, AJ. You've had a hell of a day. How are you?
Yeah, it's been a busy one for sure. But hey, we're here podcasting tonight. It's always one of the highlights of my bi-weekly cycle. So we're all good, man.
There you go.
Been a lot of back and forth. Look, I didn't even have time to change out of my gym clothes, but hey, I got my workout in, so it's all good.
Yeah, I don't even have workout clothes, and you actually go work out, so you're one up on me. So there you go. It has been a busy day. You finally got the time to sit down and watch tonight's movie. I actually rewatched it. I had watched it earlier in the week, just to kind of brush up on it. So that was fun. Crazy day at work for both of us today, for different reasons. And I'm ready to do some podcasting as well. So I'm always up for talking some Harry Potter. We'll see if our resident Harry Potter expert is able to tune in tonight. That being the lovely Chastity Crawley. She's one of our favorites and been a longtime viewer of the show and my other show. So hopefully she can jump in to correct us on things. Kale McLeish is usually good for that too. But yeah,
man, I tell you what, I really hope so, because we were kind of struggling for how to like subtitle this one. When we just say like, oh yeah, we're going to do Harry Potter. And then it's like, okay, well, what about this Harry Potter? So I think the summary you wrote and the title on the page here kind of says it. Like, it's really hard to remember specifically what goes on in this one, even though so much stuff happens. But I don't know about you. Have you known anybody that if you ask them, like, what's your favorite Harry Potter book? They go, oh my God, Half-Blood Prince. Totally.
Yeah, that was my kind of idea. And by the way, we are saved. Chastity Crawley says I'm here. So there we go. All right,
cool. We're bailed out.
Chaz can correct us on everything. Yeah, that's actually the terminology that I used when I was writing up the little blurbs for the show, was that it's overlooked. Because I completely agree with you. It seems to be the one that gets talked about the least, at least from what I've gathered from my friends who are into Harry Potter like I am. I hear the least about this particular book. I mean, you could talk about maybe Chamber of Secrets. Had to mute the mic there. Had a huge burp. That's what I get for drinking pop on the air. Diet Cheerwine. Yay.
Oh, wish me luck then. Orange Crush.
There you go. Nice. That's what the mute button's for. What is this? The Nerfherder Council and the Half-Ass Podcast? Like,
that should have been the title. Damn it.
Yeah, it's a Half-Ass Podcast talking about the Half-Blood Prince. There we go. Damn it. Why did we come up with this after we went live?
Shit.
Oh my God. Anyway, yeah, this one gets talked about the least. And I'm not sure why. I mean, I think this one might be one of the most intriguing entries in the series for that fact, but also the fact that I think it's kind of hard to deny that the movie veers from the novel more than any of the other adaptations.
Yes.
And I think
glad you brought that up.
Yeah, I think there's I'm trying to think if there's another part in the series of the films that I have the biggest problem with. Besides, because my biggest problem with the movie series is how they redid the ending of the whole thing. I didn't like how the director's like, well, I didn't like the book ending. I wanted something with more action or this. I'm like, dude, stop. So I didn't like that.
Like The Shining.
Oh God, don't get me started. Please don't get me started. But yeah, so
What, I can't troll you on our own podcast?
Still haven't watched it, won't watch it. If the author of the novel says, yeah, this is crap, I'm like, yep, I'll take his word for it. So yeah, Chastity says it. She says the movie is sort of crap compared to the book. A lot is missing. Yeah, there really is. And outside of the ending of the entire 8-film saga, I think this one has a hole in it from the novel that I think I would have to really sit down and think about this. But off the top of my head, I really feel like this has my second least favorite change. And it's not even really a change. It's just an omission, but I think it's a pretty big one. So it's interesting.
We talked about this. I think we brought it up a few times as we've gone through this book series. You know, the page count of these things keeps increasing. I think from book 3 onward, everything was at least twice as long as Sorcerer's Stone. So you start having, but the runtime of the movies is all pretty much the same. So you start having to, make a lot of editorial choices and figure out like what you can cut, what you can rework or combine or do all this sort of stuff. And you're right. Of all the movies, I think this one is the least successful at retaining the character, I guess, of the book. Like it's there. Not only is there a lot of stuff missing, but it feels like they also focused on different stuff. Like it's way more about the relationships between the characters and less about the events that are taking place, you know?
Yeah. Chastity says, bonus points if you know who Eileen Prince is. If you only watched the movie, you won't. Yeah. I mean, that's very well phrased, AJ. It definitely shifts focus, I think. It's still good. I mean, that's one thing. I think all of the Harry Potter movies are really good. So it's not to say that this movie is terrible or anything by any means. But some of the things that they changed and omitted were, I don't think they were the best decisions. And I think, I mean, if you want, I can start right off the bat and just get into the whole.
I mean, do we have to call spoilers? I don't know.
Yeah. Oh, the views of the Nerfherder Council don't necessarily reflect those of the Virtual Cantina Network. And if you haven't watched this stuff or read this stuff before, there will be spoilers. So, yeah.
All right. The lawyers are happy. We can continue.
Yeah. after I said shit in the intro without even, whatever. I mean, the book is called The Half-Blood Prince. And in the movie, he just goes, I'm the Half-Blood Prince. Like, okay, so if you're only familiar with the movie, you're like, why the hell did they call it that? Just because he had like a potion book or something? No. They completely omit a pretty major part of the novel. I mean, it's still got all the parts about Harry using that particular spell book, whatever you want to call it. And it has all these like notes in the margins and everything, stuff like that. But what they don't talk about is the fact that, Snape is the Half-Blood Prince, but they don't explain what it means. In the movie, it's just like a meaningless term.
Yeah, it's just a nickname.
Yeah, and
might as well be like, that's my TikTok handle.
Exactly. Exactly. John Phillips, great to see you, man. He says, yeah, we can't have that vital piece of info. We got to destroy the Weasley house. Yeah. I mean, and we'll get to that too. I mean, because that's like another thing.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, Snape is the Half-Blood Prince, excuse me. But yeah, it's because it's his mother's maiden name. It's, he's a half-blood.
Mm-hmm.
And his mother's maiden name was Prince. His father's was Snape. And So I mean, and they take a minute to explain that, and by a minute I mean a while. In the book, they kind of go over it, and you know it makes sense. You're like, okay, you know, the book it has the inscription like property of the Half-Blood Prince, and you're like, oh, who's this Half-Blood Prince person? Yada yada. And in the movie, they don't even bring that up at all, and they really just kind of go, you should get rid of that book. They don't really. I mean, it shows on the screen like, oh, it's property of the Half-Blood Prince. But that's about it. And then at the end, Snape goes, I'm the Half-Blood Prince. Okay, well, that's kind of pee-pee. Like, it's stupid. And I thought it was a vital piece of information.
Dude, the way they delivered it, it's almost like they wrote the whole script, and then someone in the edit pointed out, like, hey, we never explained the title. Like, oh, shit. Okay, punch that in. Reshoot.
Yes,
Fantastic.
totally agree. Sorry. I completely forgot to pull the blind down, and all of a sudden I'm getting like all this sunset light on me. So anyway, yeah,
you love the summertime shows for that, don't you?
I know. It's I'll tell you what, I'll take sunlight on me as opposed to when I was podcasting in my old place when it was like 150 degrees where I was at. So up in the attic, but yeah, no, you're right. It seems like such an afterthought, and I don't know. I think it helps to explain the character of Snape a lot to say, okay, well, he's a half-blood because, you know, there's so much in the books about how the wizarding community, especially the dark wizards, are basically, you know,
racist.
Yeah, right. But yeah, they basically say, well, if you're not pure blood, then you suck in a way, like, you know, mud blood, whatever. So I thought it was a very, very, very important omission from the movie. I was really surprised. About that when I first saw this film for the first time. Mm-hmm. I went, that's a pretty major omission. So
yeah, you know, it's like Canon. It's only the title of the entire book. Why explain it?
Yeah.
It's like Harry Potter and the It's Snape.
Yeah. Well, and as Chastity says, I mean, it's interesting because, you know, she says, but he clings to the magic side. Eileen was a witch. She was listed in past students. Tobias Snape was a muggle. So he has the muggle name, but takes after the magic side. I think that's kind of important. And yet they don't bring it up at all. It's kind of interesting. So I just thought that was really glaring. And again, I would have to go back and really write some moments down. But I mean, I love the entire series, but I really think this might be my second least favorite change. My least favorite being that ending, the end fight between Voldemort and Harry, because I just didn't care for it. It was fine in the book. I don't know why you're screwing with it. And
it's more cinematic, but we'll get there. We got 2 more movies to go.
Exactly. So other than that,
we'll actually have to figure that out because we've been going, you know, 1-to-1, but we got 2 movies to cover 1 book. So do we split that into 2 episodes?
Well, of course we do. It's 2 movies.
Yeah.
So
okay. Then we gotta remember where the book leaves off so we can pick up the discussion later.
Yeah, right. Billy Judd tuning in. Great to see you. Says hi guys. How's it going? All right. So I think, you know, let's start here. So you saw the movies before reading the books, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Did you enjoy this one?
Well, yeah, it was movies first. I was indoctrinated by a Potterhead, so yeah. To be honest, I've said this before where I'm not really a fan of the movies overall. They get the story told, but I just feel like there's so much lacking compared to the book experience. I know that's pretty common, but I can think of other books to movies. I mean, the one that absolutely, you know, smashes it out of the park is the gold standard is Lord of the Rings. I mean, when you've got the books standing next to the movies and they both stand on their own, they feel like the book should have been a book and the movie should have been a movie. Whereas this just, there's so many of these, you know, books turned movies where it just seems like someone was too close to the source material, and as a result, they didn't really tell a narrative. They simply portrayed the events as written.
Almost like a Cliff Notes.
Yeah. Yeah, like I said, I get the feeling from these movies a lot, and this one especially because of all the missing content that it's just like someone drafted an outline of the events and was like, "All right, we'll put it on screen, it's done." And didn't give any thought to like how do we preserve the emotional impact, or what's the most important thing about this scene that we need to convey to the audience. That
Yeah.
kind of stuff. So I view the movies almost as like supplemental material to the books. Like if you just want to see it on screen, if you want to see it visualized, then great, here it is. But as far as like getting the impact of the story, I think this one especially really just falls short of the mark.
I would disagree on the rest of the series. I think they do a very good job of presenting what's there. It does seem rushed, but I think what I've realized, especially within the last year or two, because I've been just really, really going down the reading rabbit hole again, is that anytime there's a movie adaptation of a book that I've read, I'm always feeling like the movie is rushed, and I think that's just there's no way around that because you can't really do it any other way.
That is also true. These things were coming out every 18 months because the actors were a certain age and they had to like keep up with their puberty, and also they wanted to keep the hype train rolling. So they're like, all right, we wrapped filming. Great. You get 3 weeks off and we're going to come back and do the next one.
Yeah. I don't necessarily mean rushed in terms of like the production schedule for the movies. I mean like the story. It's like this happened, then this happened, then this happened, then this happened, then this happened. It kind of feels like, whoa, there's some other stuff. So
you've got to take a beat, and like you have your important moments and you have your like character moments.
Yeah.
And that, the ups and downs, the roller coaster. And yeah, this is just like, okay, good. We got to the end. We hit our runtime. Good work, guys.
Right. Yeah. And so I guess I feel like they do a good job of it because I feel like the heart and soul of the Harry Potter series is in the movies. It doesn't feel like it's watered down. I think the character relationships as they were described in the books is very strong in the movies. So I don't have a problem with them the same way that you do. That being
might
said,
be why you like this one better, because like the relationships really do take front and center in this one.
Yeah. But I think this one also I think they missed the mark on what they were cutting, to hit a runtime and whatnot. They kind of, I mean, and this was one of the main points that I wanted to bring up is that in the book there was a whole lot more flashing back with Voldemort and Dumbledore and stuff like that, and the memories and all that kind of thing. And I thought that was important. Like this movie, this novel, I should say, really, before they get into the climax of the whole thing with book 7, I think this book really fleshed out the remaining parts of the story that weren't really there. It was kind of like a linear good guy, bad guy thing. And then when you get into this one, you get a whole lot of backstory on Tom Riddle and whatnot, and it character out. And kind of you see Dumbledore's involvement with him and things like that, and none of that is in the movie, which I think kind of sucks, because I think it added the novel. While it's not my favorite of the series, I thought it added a ton of extra depth to the overall story arc. And none of that appeared in the movie, that's why I think it was a very interesting choice not to include that stuff. But
I always like to play this thought experiment, though. So let me ask you, you've only got a certain amount of minutes in the runtime. So if you want to put that stuff back in, what would you cut to make room for it?
Well, I mean, John Phillips mentioned it, and Chaz backed him up. The things that they added that weren't there. The destruction of the Weasley house. That didn't happen. So what are you doing? And I mean the original opening of the book
heightens the stakes, I guess.
Yeah. The original intro to the book is actually, Cornelius Fudge talking to the Muggle Prime Minister and saying, hey, you guys are in trouble. They introduced the new minister of magic, Rufus Grimjar. I don't know how important that is, but and honestly, him talking to the Muggle prime minister, I mean, I don't know how important that is. I mean, it's good for the book, but for the movie, it's like, okay. But yeah, adding stuff in.
Stakes. Yeah, I get why that's an important scene, just because it does with how secretive the wizarding world is, for Fudge to go to the Muggle prime minister and be like, hey, we exist and you're in trouble. Like that's it is a good way of setting the table and being like, yeah, this is really out of control now. But you're right. If you're trying to keep it focused and you only have a certain amount of minutes, maybe that's not so necessary. Like, we've already got enough stakes with just the framework that we built in the last 5 movies. You could do without that.
Yeah. No, I agree completely. It's if you're struggling to figure out what to put in, don't add stuff that was never there in the first place.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, Chastity Crawley, I mean, she's right on this too. She's right on everything where Harry Potter's concerned.
Of course.
She says, but in the book, it isn't the first time the Minister of Magic has visited the Muggle minister. Yeah, Chaz, and I think that's why, if it wasn't important enough to put in the first time, then it's not important enough to put in here. But you also don't have to have the destruction of the Weasley house. Because I remember I was thinking about that. I was like, well, wait a minute. Because they're back at the Weasley's place for the wedding in the 7th movie. So, and I don't remember off the top of my head because I haven't watched the 7th movie in a while. Like, but I don't think they explained like, oh yeah, we put the fire out, we repaired everything. Like, it's just kind of like the house is back, like,
Hermione just showed up and was like, reparo.
Yeah, exactly. She knows one of those crazy spells.
I think that's actually the spell that fixes Harry's glasses. So why can't it fix a house?
It is, right? Billy Judd says they cut the memory of Tom Riddle killing Morphin. Yeah, that's that backstory that I was talking about. It was, they cut things out that kind of deepen the character of Tom Riddle / Voldemort. Kim McLeish, great to see you, bro. He says, ooh, I know. Cut the Wan bullshit. Yeah. Well, that was part of the book. But so yeah, that was kind of important to have like that over the top cuteness. So he says, I don't need Ron being dumb. Well, I mean, it was pronounced in the book like she was just over the top with it. So I mean, that stuff I thought they did good, but again,
sorry, go ahead.
No, good.
Potential hot take, but isn't Ron always the dumb one?
I mean, compared to Hermione and Harry, it seems like it.
Yeah,
I mean, like the dunce of the
someone's got to be last in any group, and yeah, of the 3, he's the slow kid.
Yep. Okay, Chaz says the spell is Oculus Reparo.
All right. So
apparently that was Burrow Reparo.
Yeah. Burrowless Reparo.
Yeah.
Oh well.
So yeah. So I don't understand why some of that stuff had to go and why they had to add other stuff when there was some very important backstory that you kind of needed. I think I agree with you 100% on one thing. They're probably just going for more action. I think once you've had 5 movies already and you're at the 6th, they're not just going to hit the brakes like, okay, here's a bunch of backstory exposition.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to turn people off, unfortunately. I wouldn't have a problem with it, but I think that's something that works much better in book form than it does in movie form. And I mean, a perfect example is the Dark Tower series with Stephen King.
I was just going there.
Yeah. I mean, the 4th book is basically nothing but one flashback story, except for like a little part at the beginning and a little part at the end. And you can get away with it. You've got these 3 big ass novels. Well, 2 big ass novels and 1 novella that came before it. You're all invested. So now you're getting this backstory. Okay. But that's in books. I think it's a different experience. With films, you can't do it. So I think I side with you completely when you made the observation that it's strictly like, okay, we got to have some more action in this.
Yeah, I thought that was really interesting. It's funny. I was just watching a YouTube video today about The Last Jedi. And it actually reminded me of this book a lot in that, it's the penultimate chapter and you try to throw in these twists and turns to keep the narrative interesting. And maybe subverting expectations isn't always the best play. Like it has shock value. It'll get you the first time. But then, on rewatches or rereads in this case, it lessens the impact every time, especially if you're doing like shock for shock's sake. So the Snape reveal in the movie of just like, I'm the Half-Blood Prince. Like the first time, if you didn't know the story, you're like, holy crap, what? But then on subsequent viewings, you're like just waiting for it. Like, yeah, we know it's Snape now. Big deal.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of that too, where they spend a lot of time. This book, like you said, with book 4 of the Dark Tower, where it's a whole lot of recontextualizing past events to set the stage and tie it all together. So the last book can really like pay it all off,
Yeah.
Which it works in book form. That is a great, like, it's like the setup to the final battle in Endgame, where it's like a victory lap almost, where you kind of like set everything up and you tie some loose ends of the backstory together, and then gets everyone like primed for the big showdown. In a movie, it's a lot harder to do that, especially because a lot of the stuff that they had to tie together wasn't pointed out or really made important in the previous movies. So now you're trying to add stakes to things that have no prior context to the movie-going audience.
Yeah. No, I completely agree. And I don't understand why that decision was made. Like I said, I don't know.
Well,
I get
I
it
think
for action's sake, but
I think that's the problem, I guess, of the previous 5 movies is this book relies so heavily on tying those loose ends together. But if they're not included in the other 5 movies, you don't only have to tie them together, you have to set them up in the first place. So you got 2 choices. You can either ignore them entirely and hope the story doesn't fall apart, or do the double duty of getting people to care about it and then pay it off. So I think this movie was kind of set up in a really tough spot from the start. It had a lot of material to cover, and not all of it was included in the prior movies to be there to pay off.
yeah, that's true. That's true. And then you just get into like what I was just complaining about, like shoehorning things in.
Right. Like imagine Luke, I am your father, if Obi-Wan never told Luke that Vader betrayed and murdered his father.
Right.
It's just like, oh, damn, you're a crappy dad. But that's about, all the impact it has. It's like Snape and the Half-Blood Prince.
Yeah.
Like they didn't explain why the hell that mattered. It's like, yeah, it's me.
Right. Yeah. So, I mean, speaking of things that were left out or changed that I thought were kind of important, at the end of the book, when Harry and Dumbledore return from retrieving the Horcrux from the Dark Lake or whatever you want to call it,
do we drop in the trivia now, by the way?
Sure, go for it.
That's Ochto.
Is it?
Yep. They filmed it on the
I
same
didn't know that.
Skellig Michael. Yep.
Really? Well, that's cool. Well, wait a minute. No, it wasn't. I didn't see any sea cows.
Where are the porgs?
Yeah, exactly. Maybe
That's what
Skellig
this movie needs. They should have had porgs in that cave. That would have been outstanding.
Well, at least we
milk.
know what. At least we know, like when she fell into that pool, if she would have kept swimming, where she would have ended up. There'd be like Inferi and all that crap.
Oh yeah,
that's what we need. We need a cut of all that together. But yeah, so when they get back from the Dark Lake, from hunting porgs, yeah, there's actually like a battle going on at Hogwarts. It's almost like a precursor to the huge battle at the end of book 7.
Mm-hmm.
And in the movie, there's just the handful of Death Eaters. what, there are 4 of them or something like that. It's Fenrir Greyback and Bellatrix Lestrange, and I don't remember the other 2 that were in the movie because they don't really do much. But yeah, and it's kind of not a good that Gail McLeish. He says that's how Darkseid Ray makes sense. She hung out with a Horcrux too long. She had the real one. That's why that was the fake. R-A-B, Ray, and then A-B. That's giving away her original first name or last name. Excuse me. It's Ray something A-B. We'll have to come up with a good last name for her. So.
Yeah, I'm working on it. That's why we both fell silent. We're like, punchline. Nope, got nothing.
Well, I mean, I guess there's the RAF would be Ray as fuck. So maybe this will be this. Maybe RAB is Ray as balls. I'm Ray as balls, man.
I was gonna say Ray ass bitch.
Either one. God bless. God. Oh my God. Anyway, yeah. I mean. I understand in a way why they did it because I looked it up and I guess the explanation was changing it to a much more small scale thing in the movie was because they didn't want to kind of take any of the thunder away from the big battle that was going to occur at the very end of the last movie. Gail, this is Ray Amidala Binks. There we go. Billy Judd says HBO better include Katie Bell's necklace curse. Well, if they do, I don't know if I'll ever see it. That show has already annoyed me, but it's not even out.
Yeah, I was gonna say it come out yet. How can it annoy you if it doesn't exist yet?
It just does. Certain details I've read, I'm like, you know me and changing things. Just for the sake of changing things, you know, like we said in the last episode, like Dolores Umbridge has one of the best quotes ever. Like, change solely for the sake of change must be discouraged. Like, yeah.
Okay. Yes, that is true.
So
that is true. I haven't been following it as much as you, so I don't know which changes you're referring to, but we will find out and we will discuss it on the show.
Yeah.
We'll at least give the first episode a try and see what we think of it. But I look, everybody's got their favorite versions of these things. I know like Audible's been putting out, audibletrial.com/NHC for a free audiobook download. They had the full cast sessions of the audiobooks.
So good.
Don't like them.
What?
I like the Jim Dale narration. So I don't need all the different actors and actresses doing all the voices. I like Jim Dale.
Oh my God. I mean, his versions are great. I have those, but oh my God, the full cast editions are awesome.
I know. I'm not saying
Oh
there's
my
anything
God.
wrong with them. I'm just saying like they don't improve my listening experience because I find nothing wrong with the previous one.
I don't think it. I think it adds to it. Wow.
So I think in this case, like with the TV show, as we're talking about, there's so much material they have to cut from the movies. I am really looking forward to, especially hopefully that they get like 1 season per book and they keep it going. By that time they'll be on the like 15th corporate overlord. But
Right.
if they actually stick with it and get to like Half-Blood Prince, there's going to be so much good stuff to cover in that series that got cut from this movie. So I'm looking forward to seeing all the stuff that didn't exist in the movies. Maybe they'll do a better job of it. Or maybe it's like the extended editions of Lord of the Rings again, where, I mean, it's great for completionists, but you've got good movies without including those 2 extra hours of footage. So we'll see.
No, I mean, that's fair. That's fair. Billy Judd says HBO cast Peeves, and Kale says that's got to be the one change I look forward to so far.
Yeah, I mean, Peeves is in it. Let's just start with that. I mean,
right. By the way, Chastity says my husband is trying to get me into the new character audiobook. If you're talking about the full cast stuff, Chaz, it's awesome. It's awesome. I really like them. I think it's like an enhanced, and the reason I like it is because they don't abridge the books. Usually when you get those full cast things with the sound effects and everything, it's an abridged version, and these are actually unabridged, which that I like. I want the full book, but if you can do it like almost like you're listening to a movie, that's awesome. She also says, I'm with JT. I refuse to ever watch the HBO series. I will give it a try, but we'll jeez. Yeah. Anyway, so no, I guess I understand why they cut like that first kind of mini battle of Hogwarts, like the battle in the astronomy tower. But I think it was a little necessary to keep in this movie because you really kind of got the idea that the Death Eaters could infiltrate Hogwarts, and it wasn't just a handful of people.
Oh, so like instead of they got lucky, it's like they could have been doing this, and it's the good guys that are lucky they didn't try harder at an earlier time.
Yeah, I mean, it shows like, okay, Hogwarts can be breached by a sizable force somehow. I mean, if you're going to sneak like a handful of like four Death Eaters in, okay, that's 4 people. So that is,
I mean, yeah,
okay.
a really big trench coat will do that.
Right, 3 of them.
I mean, they all wear robes anyway. It's so easy to smuggle people under those things.
And why didn't they do that?
All wearing trench coats.
You say they were like a very skinny giant. Just a giant robe and just, put some putty on your face, make yourself look real ugly. Like, oh, I'm a giant. Okay, in you go. Hagrid will take care of you.
This is where I wish you actually liked BoJack Horseman on Netflix, because you won't get the Vincent Adultman reference.
I think that show's hilarious. I just haven't watched it all.
Oh, okay. Sorry. Spoilers for later seasons, but there's a character called Vincent Adultman who is just 3 children in a trench coat.
Okay, I did see that. Doesn't he become like the boyfriend of the cat or whatever?
Yeah. He ends up dating Princess Caroline.
Yeah. No, that show's hilarious, man. So, but yeah, I just think it would have. I don't think it would have taken away from the 8th movie, because that battle was so big, and it was a huge portion of that movie, that I think showing something like that on a smaller scale was not going to be something that would kind of pop the balloon or spoil the importance of the end of the entire, cinematic series. I mean, does that make sense?
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe they thought that, I mean, just the mere thought that, because up to this point, Hogwarts has been impregnable. It was, with all the craziness going on, the one place that the Death Eaters just could not get into. So getting any of them in there was a big deal. Maybe they just, like they said, they just scaled it. They're like, look, they got in. That alone is huge. We don't need to like have 25 of them. We just get a handful in there. And it kind of makes more sense with how they got in.
Yeah, I agree with that.
I'm picturing like the toll booth in Blazing Saddles. Like single file, one at a time.
Right. That's what we need. We another supercut that we could make. We need to show each of the Death Eaters individually going into the like the vanishing cabinet in Borgin and Burke's, and then you cut real quick to Taggart going, somebody's got to go back and get a shitload of dimes.
Right.
That'd be awesome.
Line out to Nocturne Alley, and they're like,
right. Or just like, man, oh man. So let's see. We've mashed up Monty Python on the show. Now we're mashing up Mel Brooks on this show. We should be writers.
We're doing great.
We'll be the next Miller and Lord, only wildly unsuccessful. So, yeah. I don't know. I felt it was important. It's weird because it almost makes it more intimate that only 4 of them got in, and yet they took a lot of the intimacy out of the story from the novel. You know what I mean? It's almost like a reverse of the problem we just talked about, where they had all this character development and backstory to flesh things out, which to me is always kind of like an intimate sort of experience in terms of storytelling. And they took that out, but then they replaced it. Instead of this a whole shitload of Death Eaters getting in, there's only a handful. So it's very personal when Dumbledore, is up there, and he gets killed. So, that's interesting. It's kind of an interesting choice. That's why I say, like, it's weird the choices they made for this movie.
I'm trying to like come up with a rationale here, and I'm thinking that maybe, like I said, because the relationships more than the events were so front and center in this, maybe they thought that having a smaller stakes encounter, because it's like this happens with a lot of modern blockbusters and storytelling, where it's like you can have like one crucial character death, and that hits home, and that sucks to watch. But then you watch something like, hey, we're a Star Wars podcast. I can make all the Star Wars references I want, like Starkiller Base blowing up Hosnian Prime.
Yeah.
And you just, 37 bajillion people just died. Okay, whatever. But if you saw like the face of a character you cared about watching that laser coming at him, that would hit home.
Yeah.
So maybe that was the intent, was like, okay, if we make the audience care about these characters and show them instead of like dozens of Death Eaters all running rampant, then maybe it'll have more emotional impact.
I could see that. I could see that. Again, I just like, as I think more and more about it, and as I thought more and more about it, like watching the movie a couple times and going back to the book, it was like, man, there's some really weird choices. And another one. I mean, one of the most emotional things in the entire series, I think, was Dumbledore's funeral in the novel. Nowhere to be found in the book. They just had a whole bunch of the Hogwarts people standing there lighting their wands, and it was sad for like 30 seconds. Then, okay, end of the movie. It's like, well, that's kind of important. This whole the funeral thing was like, they really played up Dumbledore's death, which why wouldn't you? And in the book, or excuse me, in the movie, it was, I wouldn't say it was glossed over, but it wasn't handled nearly with the scale that it was in the novel. So that was another weird one to me.
That is a problem with these movies in general, is the books do tend to take a beat and have like an epilogue. Like after Cedric's death in Goblet of Fire, same thing. Like the movie just ends. Like, holy crap, a kid died. Okay. Roll credits. But they kind of sit there for a minute in the, I guess the epilogue is the only word coming up, but like there's like a cap scene, where like they're not just like, okay, we're back on the Hogwarts Express going home for the summer. It's like, no, there's like a heaviness and a sadness, and the book really dwells on that. Like no one's happy to like, yay, it's summer. They're like, how do we deal with this? I don't feel good.
Yeah.
And that just doesn't get portrayed in the movie. And same here with Dumbledore. Like Dumbledore of all people dies, and like you said, 30 seconds later, directed by, and here comes the John Williams music. Like, come on.
Yeah. No, I in a way I could see why they don't do those epilogues, because it's kind of like leave it on that cliffhanger of I feel like shit, instead of let's try and let you down easy before we roll credits a little bit. But that being said, not showing Dumbledore's funeral, I just think is a big problem. It deserves to be addressed.
Mm-hmm.
And I think,
like, imagine Revenge of the Sith if you didn't see Padme and the procession.
Yeah, that's a very good example.
Like, you saw her die, it's good enough.
As she did. You already know she's dead. Look at this, Cale McLeish. Why don't you try doing a podcast, you ass? He goes, quote unquote, the most emotional thing in the novel is nowhere to be found in the book. John Drake, 2026. Look, man, I misspeak a lot. All right, look. What the hell, man? Oh my gosh. Yeah,
If you haven't figured it out by now, Kale, we work on quality over quantity. No. Screwed up my own joke.
I was gonna say, like, if you're trying to make the joke, I get it, but otherwise, yeah, I think Dumbledore's funeral is another example of some. It's right. Chastity Crawley says no gorilla farts to blame this time. Nope, just me being stupid. Okay, Billy Judd says they cut Harry saying goodbye to Hogwarts and Ginny. Yeah, that's. I'm glad you brought that up because I was actually about to go there next. Yeah, again, I think as you go through all the changes and whatnot, I hate to phrase it like this because it makes it sound like I don't like the movie or that it was a failure, failure in execution. But they almost took a lot of the heart out of this novel. Dumbledore's funeral, and Billy Judd just brought it up. Harry at the end is like, "Hey, I'm out of here," and he basically, I mean, he was in a relationship with Ginny for a good part of the book, and then basically breaks up with her because he's like, "I'm leaving, I'm not coming back," and he expects he's going to die potentially, whatever. He doesn't know, and he doesn't want to break her heart. So I mean, that's nowhere to be found. So they really kind of took a lot of the emotional parts out of the book to make the novel. It's interesting.
I see what you did there. I'm paying attention.
Yeah. There you go. Actually, I
just wanted to make sure that was known before we got another quote up on the screen. There's only so many t-shirts I can make.
No.
Yeah. The other thing about this one that I feel like really gets glossed over, again, for the sake of the relationships between the main characters, I feel like the book did a much better job of dragging out Slughorn. Like,
yeah,
he was, I guess, quirky would be the word that I would choose in this. Like, he just seemed like a weird guy.
Yeah.
And it wasn't really, I don't think the movie did a good job of really explaining that he ever had his shit together. He just seemed like more like a caricature than a character almost. And then when it's like, when he wouldn't talk to Harry, and then Harry gets the memory, like, I feel like I liked the drawn out nature of it. It's a lot like when Harry was being trained to produce a Patronus and resist the Dementors. In the book, it was a much more drawn out thing of like night after night after night.
Yeah.
And he kept working on it. And the movie just didn't have time to really like show that very much. So it's kind of like the same thing here where there's just not enough Slughorn and Harry and whatnot to really explain why he was being so evasive and weird about it.
Yeah, that's true. See, that's a difficult. As far as
new characters, like Dolores Umbridge is like one of the best additions to the saga when she came in. I feel like Slughorn was supposed to be kind of like the good guy version of that, like a quirky guy, but on the hero side. And I never really cared for that character too much. So making him so pivotal to the events of the story, it's why this one ranks pretty lowly for me.
Okay. I thought it was an interesting way to introduce the Horcruxes. I thought it was a lot more interesting than, Dumbledore just going, oh, well, there's a thing called a Horcrux, and Voldemort did it 7 times. So I thought it was pretty interesting to do it that way, as opposed to just some linear kind of, hey, here's like Dumbledore's just like spewing exposition on the screen, like. So
I'll throw it to Chastity to fact check, but I heard that J.K. Rowling had the idea for Horcruxes as early as book 2, but decided to hold off on the reveal, choosing instead to set them up. The MacGuffins set them up before they were explained, specifically to go back and say, "Oh yeah, that was one, that was one, that was one," and so on.
If that's the case, it sounds like it makes sense, so I wouldn't be surprised if that is the case. I think that's an incredibly intelligent decision because if you think about it, I mean, they destroyed one in the second book. God, let me think. Because they basically still had 6 left, and then when you get to the last 2 books, you have Mike mute for a burp. You get to the last 2 books. At least you're not having to go through all of them, and I think it was interesting to make, and this is something we'll talk about when we get to the last 2 episodes of doing this. It made it really interesting to make Harry one of the Horcruxes, and I think also Nagini, because if they're let's say they didn't do those 3 things, have Riddle's diary be one and it gets destroyed with the basilisk tooth, and then you don't have Harry and Nagini. There's 3 of the 7 right there. If you just had 7 things, like you had the diadem and the ring and the god, whatever, like, then that last book is just you're shoehorning in, trying to find 7 things. It's just become, okay, man, like that's just too damn much.
Mm-hmm.
Then it's just like a video game, you're basically playing Castlevania. So
yeah, it's like J.K. Rowling's just rummaging through a junk drawer, like, that roll of packing tape, that's actually a Horcrux. Is part of his soul's in there.
Yeah, packing tape.
Yeah, that expired heartworm medicine for the dog that died 12 years ago. Yeah, that's a Horcrux. Oh, this watch battery, that's a Horcrux.
Watch battery. What's that old bacon grease container everyone has in the back of their fridge? Horcrux. Horcrux. I was
cooking up Sunday brunch, and I decided, you know what, I'm really gonna put my soul into this one.
What if you like use like a pile of dog shit? Then no one would ever find it. Who knows where that would end up? Or that's the end. He like puts it in a pile of dog shit. He's like, ha ha ha, and like he hires like a poop service to clean his yard, but they miss one, and it just happens to be that one. So that's how they discover it. Like,
oh God, we are so dumb. We are so dumb.
This is we suck. Yes, look, Gail McLeish says the sole of my shoe is the soul of my soul. That's hilarious. Oh my God, we are the dumbest show ever. I swear to God. Yeah. So I know we got derailed, but yeah, I think it makes sense to actually have the Horcruxes be a little different, because the Harry one I thought was extremely interesting. You know what? We'll talk about it when we get there, because I really love that idea. So
oh yeah.
Yeah. Chesty Crawley says, pick a random penny, spend it, and boom, you'll never find it. Pick a part of the ISS, not even on the planet. There you go. So get off your phone. We're doing a podcast. That's rude.
All right, look, fine.
Let me guess. Your phone is a Horcrux?
Yeah, totally.
AJ's cell phone. Damn you, Voldemort.
When I'm getting a phone call from upstairs, yeah, I tend to pay attention to it. Anyway,
well, tell them to shut up. We got a podcast. But
it's their fault for not tuning in.
Exactly. They could just jump in the chat. They could. That's transmit family news in the chat, please. That would make the show even better. So, all right. So I know we got sidetracked, but I did want to say that. Oh God damn it! Where's my point? We always sidetrack ourselves. I had something really important I wanted to talk about, and now I can't remember what the hell it was.
You were talking about Horcruxes.
Yeah.
And then
it was something about an emotional part of the story that I really liked. That's what I wanted to. Okay. So it's actually a question for you, because you saw the movie first, but to me it hit really hard even in book form. So I'm wondering if it hit as hard for you seeing it in the movie. When they killed off Dumbledore, That was, to me, I was like, wait, what? Holy shit. Like, I'm thinking, okay, like, because you're figuring it's got to be Dumbledore and Harry to the end. You know what I mean? And as cliche as that is, you're kind of like, okay, well, that's how these things work. And so when I was reading the book and then they killed him, I was like, what the hell? So
Dude.
how did it hit for you since you saw the movie before reading the book?
Same. I was shocked because I thought I didn't actually really like go into it trying to like predict the plot. So I can't say like what I thought they would do was, because I didn't really think ahead. But I think the traditional move would have been to like escape by the skin of your teeth in this one and then off them real quick in the finale. So like that whole movie is Harry dealing without Dumbledore and not expecting it, instead of having, the time gap from this book to the next to be okay with the idea. Also, Dumbledore being headmaster of Hogwarts and Harry not going back to Hogwarts. Like, what is that like? What would time at Hogwarts have been like without Dumbledore there?
Yeah. No, that's.
I thought that all would have been interesting. But yeah, when he actually went down in the movie, like I knew he was taking a beating, and the locket took a lot out of him, obviously. But yeah, I did not expect that. I did not expect that at all. I was like, I was really glad that I saw it all after the fact, so I could just move right on to Deathly Hallows. I would love to know Deathly Hallows, just to be correct about it. I don't know if Chastity probably read the books in real time or whatever as they came out, but I would love to know what that experience was like.
Oh, having to wait.
Yeah, can you imagine?
That cliffhanger?
Can you imagine? Like, Jesus. It's like back in the day when, you got I Am Your Father, and then like, all right, well, I guess we'll wait for Return of the Jedi 3 years later.
Yeah, right. So look who's jumping in the chat here. Haley's jumping in. What's going on, Haley? Good to see you. It's the first time I'm meeting her. It's like over the internet. Yay. Let's hear it for 2026. Haley asks a quick question. She says, would you say the book is better than the movie? I mean, since we are comparing it, I am always of the opinion, Haley, that the book is better. I'm one of those. I just, there's something about being able to oh, blimey, nerd alert. To me, there's just something about being able to flesh out the story a little bit more. And I think this is what we're talking about tonight is a perfect example, because, I don't know how long you were tuned in or whatnot, but, as we said, there's some really emotional stuff in this novel that they don't put in the movie. So I think this is a very good example of the book definitely kind of being a much better experience than the film. And again, I'm biased towards the book versions anyway, but this is a pretty extreme example, I think. So, but AJ, what about you? Are you always like book guy over movie guy, or you don't read as much as I do? I know. So a lot of these, you basically just see the movie. So
it's tough because I tend to be a purist. So if it came out as a book, I experience it that way.
Okay.
And vice versa. I sure as hell can't tell you of a single novelization from a movie that works out better. But yeah, I'm trying to think of an example where I preferred the movie over the original book. I mean, Jurassic Park. The book is a good book, but doesn't hit like the movie. But I think it's just because we hadn't seen a movie like that yet.
Yeah, and I'm trying to remember if I saw the movie first. I think I saw the movie first, because that came out when I was still in high school, and I'm pretty sure I saw the movie. It was like, oh, that's a book, I got to read that. So I remember thinking the story was more fleshed out and everything.
Maybe Passion of the Christ. Just
before we blaspheme, let's jump off of that.
Yeah,
How'd
the
you get-
characterization in the book, I just couldn't really latch on.
How'd you guys get kicked off the Virtual Cantina Network? Oh boy, made a Passion of the Christ joke. They're fine with swearing. They're fine with us not agreeing with our views, not always matching up. But yeah, the Passion of the Christ jokes are where they draw the line.
We start talking Mel Brooks, Mel Gibson. We're really going to get canned.
Mel Brooks and the Passion of the Christ. What the hell is wrong with us? I bring to you these 15, 10 commandments for all to obey.
Yeah, Mel Brooks has taken his shots, hasn't he?
Oh my God. So
they're so poor. How poor are they?
Yeah. So Kale has an example, and he would know. He's our resident James Bond expert. He says, "The Spy Who Loved Me, Fleming's original sucked, but the Bond film of the same name rules out loud." So, okay.
This is a fun thing. I get drink service.
Why don't you just have enough there at the beginning of the show? That's what I do.
I didn't even have it in stock.
So that's why they were calling. They were booze shopping for you.
I guess so. Hey,
Man, that is service. It's like the reverse of DoorDash. They call you to make the run. Look at that.
I got a family who loves me for now.
There we go. Yeah, for now. Just wait to the bottom of that glass.
Right.
So yeah, Haley, I think it's definitely like a case of the book over the movie. But I will say, and you know, as we mentioned earlier, me more so than AJ, I feel like the Harry Potter movies really kind of nailed the vibe and the feel of the novels. So, I'm a big fan of the series for that reason. AJ disagrees, but you know.
So I'm always of two minds with this stuff. It's the common complaint of like Marvel movies or anything that's based on another medium first is like you've got two camps. You've got the camp that says like they deviated too much from the original. They should just do the original. Why change it? And then you got the other camp that says, well, you've got the original right over there. So why don't you just go read or watch that if you want that version?
Yeah.
So I think you're kind of damned if you do, damned if you don't. I don't mind making changes as long like if you're going to make changes, you got to like own it, stick to it. Be like, all right, we're taking it somewhere else and just go with us on the journey. Will you please? It's when they do this half and half where they're like super slavishly accurate to the source material in some things and then they completely throw out the source material for other things. That's the thing that bugs me. And I think you too, because you were talking about that right here in this movie.
See, okay. I think this film and novel are close enough. I think for me, it's either if you're gonna do it, stay true to the original. Because if you're gonna just screw with it and jack it all up, I hate that. Like that's not the story. If it's good enough for you to remake, leave it the fuck alone. I hate that. It's like I've said it many times on the show. I don't want your damn interpretation of a classic. It'd be like me going to see a Van Halen tribute band and they're playing some goofy ass version of Panama. Like, stop it. Fucking play Panama. Okay? I don't need to hear your stupid twiddly banjo dumb, kazoo version of Panama. Okay? It's Panama. Play the damn song or don't play it. I
so
hate
Weezer's
that.
Africa is not your jam?
Oh, they stayed very true to the original. They tuned it down for his voice a little bit, but they stayed very, very true to the original. So that's pretty cool. All right. Yeah, okay. You probably haven't seen this trailer, but it was, I think, just announced at Comic-Con, and I know they released a trailer for it, and I watched it, and I went, if this movie was on fire, I wouldn't piss on it to put it out. It's called Ebenezer. And it's basically a dark comedy version of A Christmas Story with Johnny Depp as Ebenezer Scrooge doing the, basically his Willy Wonka, like where he's a way over the top type of thing, which I don't care about that. It's the fact that it even fucking exists. Like, you don't mess with that, and especially you don't do that with it. It's not fun. It's not funny. Call me a curmudgeon. Go ahead and say, I'm Abe Simpson, old man yells at cloud. Leave it alone. What is the? It's going to be horrifically bad. So what are you doing?
So does that mean we're not doing a watch along of Scrooged for Christmas?
Hell no. That sucked also. That pops up in my suggested movies all the time, and I'm like, piss off. Abso-fucking-lutely not. Get the hell out of here.
Not a fan of Wicked, huh?
No. Are you kidding me? Look.
I'm just trolling tonight, man. I'm just trying to get your hackles up.
I was trying to turn the trailer off. Like it was a television when that stupid shit came up on the screen. I'm like, I don't want to see this. What the hell is that? All right, Billy Judd, I'm going to disagree. Jim Carrey's Christmas Carol was cool. Completely disagree. Don't like any of them except for the George. I like the ones that stay true to the story. So they're obviously the old ones. Gold standard is the George C. Scott one from when we were kids that was made for TV, but you can get it anywhere now.
So
I'm sorry.
Christmas Carol.
Okay, okay, yes, but that's because it's the Muppets doing the story. They didn't really F with it a ton. It's just if the Muppets were the main characters.
Okay.
So
we need Muppet Harry Potter is what you're saying?
I would be okay with that.
I would totally watch that. Yeah. As it came out my mouth, I'm like, I need that. I want that in my life.
Right? Kale says, okay, calm down. Wicked was excellent. Continue with your show now. No, it was not. It was trash. Shut up.
Where is that timeout button?
Yeah, Kale, you're going to get banned. Stop it. I'm very fervent about that. The Wizard of Oz is so legendary, you leave it alone. Period. The end. You leave it alone. Certain things you don't touch. You just don't touch. Stop. You don't. It's just you shouldn't do it. I mean, it's okay to leave things alone. It's like these horror movie remakes. I mean, they ride this razor's edge.
I was gonna say, man, we've been on this show defending the Rob Zombie Halloween films.
Okay, but that takes the spirit of the original, and they basically add gore and a little bit of backstory of Michael Myers, and the rest is the Shape chasing the kids. It's like if you saw more of what you got in the original. It wasn't like all of a sudden, Michael Myers, his mask wasn't the William Shatner one. It was like Bozo the Clown, or he's wearing a zebra costume or some shit. It's not that. It's not that ungodly, putrid Nightmare on Elm Street remake, which is just the most horrendous piece of crap I've ever seen. That was just terrible.
Again, if anyone wants to go back and hear us talk about it, we did it.
Yeah. Joseph Wren, great to see you. He goes, we're off to see the Wizard, the Wonderful. Oh, come on. Yeah, it's true. Oh
yeah.
Sorry. Call me a purist, but I don't see the point of putting you. Oh, this is my interpretation of this classic. Well, I don't care about your damn interpretation. It's a classic for a reason. Leave it alone. I don't get into that stuff at all. And I could be in the minority. I get it. That's just me. I mean, seriously, imagine if someone comes out and does like a Star Wars thing. Like, seriously. Like, they take episode 4 and just jack it all around. Like, it's different to do like, Family Guy, a Robot Chicken and stuff like that.
Thank you. I was going to ask.
But I mean, let's
see you talk out of this one. Come on.
But that's a comedy. That's ripping on the original. That's a spoof. That's different. That's not a remake. It's a spoof. They're making fun of it. It's humor. They're not saying, hey, here's my interpretation of episode 4. And just like here, changing up the characters and changing up the story, and let's make Luke and Vader's relationship actually emotional, where they're all like lovey-dovey, all that, something like, stop it. No, that's not it. That's not what the story is. God damn it. It isn't. So leave it alone. Oh,
so what kind of a spinoff? We've already covered that you don't want to watch the HBO series coming out. What kind of a spinoff could Harry Potter do? What would you watch?
if they just took the damn books and made them into like, I mean, they're doing this. They're doing one season per book, and I like that part. But they're making some changes to it. I'm like, don't change it. Leave it alone. If you want to extend it and do like a new version, it's just like you could put more detail in from the book. Cool. But don't screw around with it.
And no spin-off material.
I mean, what spin-off material would you have? They already have the movies about the Fantastic Beasts, but those are actually books that she wrote. So, I guess.
So that's a no for Longbottom.
What the hell's Longbottom?
I'm just making up titles, like if they want to do like a character-centric thing.
Oh.
And be like, oh, this is Neville's story. That kind of thing.
No. Well, I think it's because it's so iconic. It's almost like, God, we got to get back on topic since we got like 15, 20 minutes left. But see, that I was about to throw out an answer like, well, unless J.K. Rowling wrote it, I wouldn't really be into. But then there's a lot of Star Wars I like that George Lucas didn't write.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe I could. I mean, I could.
I can't believe I didn't think of this sooner, but they're gonna do a movie of Cursed Child at some point, right? I mean, it's too obvious of a cash grab not to.
You would think.
I mean, why not? They made Wicked,
and I couldn't believe
it. If you could just take Broadway shit and put it on screen, so why not?
See,
right?
Okay. As a Broadway show, I mean, I don't agree with it, but in theater, it's almost a little different. It's a different medium because you don't have like multiple takes and editing and special effects. It's like, hey, let's make a play. It's you either get it right that night or you don't. You might screw up a line here and there. Like that is, I don't know. It feels a little different because there's so many crazy plays out there. That's just what theater does. But in the movies, like, stop. Just freaking stop. Like it's, I don't know.
I love Chastity's explanation of the Fantastic Beasts franchise because I got so lost in the explanation of how the hell these things came to be as well. It's like the Robert Downey thing from Tropic Thunder. I'm a guy dressed up as a dude playing another dude. Yeah. Movies based on books mentioned in books.
Yep.
So yeah, they never were fully fleshed out. They were a reference of Hermione's reading list, and then J.K. Rowling herself was like, I could just write those books actually. And then someone's like, we could make a movie based on those books that were written for characters in other books. Is that the spin-offiest of spin-offy things yet? Like even more spin-offy than like Rings of Power, for example?
Well, Rings of Power is the original story, but
I say lots of Lord of the Rings references tonight. Damn, I'm on a certain mental path, I guess.
There we go. All right. Well, okay. So, all right, back on topic. By the way, Haley, yes, they're doing a Harry Potter series on HBO. In fact, that reminds me. I'm gonna find out when that actually comes out. When does the HBO Harry Potter series come out? There we go.
I feel like it's soon. Like, didn't they deliberately set the release date to be Harry's birthday? I think. I mean, if they didn't, they missed a golden marketing opportunity.
Yeah. It's Christmas Day of this year. It will debut on HBO and stream on Max. Damn it! I gotta get another streaming service.
That is so dumb. There are so many important dates in the calendar to Harry Potter. Drop it on like whatever the first day of school is. Or like I said, Harry's birthday is in summer. No one watches anything in summer. But
see, I don't get that. Not me. I'll watch it anytime. All right. So, anyways, back on topic. Yes, Dumbledore's death hit like a ton of bricks. Yeah, that was definitely like a huge shock when that went down. So good to know that you had the same. It had the same impact for you seeing the movie first before reading the novel. So, yeah, I just
up to this point, that's only really the second impactful character death we've had. Cedric being the first.
Yeah, And that one wasn't even like, I don't think that one was super impactful, except for the fact that that was the first time you really saw that they would kill somebody off.
Mm-hmm.
Because prior to that, like none of the kids had died, none of the teachers had died. You're just going, okay, you're just like, all right, it kind of felt innocent. But as we said, Goblet of Fire is kind of where the tone of the whole thing changes, where you kind of lose the innocence, and then it gets into, first of all, the larger story, like the more important part about like, hey, we've got to fight Voldemort, and and the more adult themed stuff, which is like, yeah, we just killed a student. You're like, holy shit, what?
Mm-hmm.
And then after that, people die after that, especially later on. You get people getting injured and stuff, and speaking of getting injured, that's another thing they kind of left out, and I don't know how I feel about it. I think because it was kind of like a minor character, I'm okay with it, but they kind of downplayed another character as a result. They didn't really talk about, in any of this series in the films, they didn't talk about Fenrir Greyback very much at all, and he was a very important Death Eater in the novels.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't mention that he was the one that turned Lupin. He's the one that bit Lupin. He bites, Bill Weasley, and kind of disfigures him and does that whole thing. In this novel, they don't say anything about it in the movie. But I mean, I'm torn. Do you think that was an important character to kind of give another named Death Eater to the crew?
I think this is one of those victims of the runtime where, yeah, I mean, I think the whole thing would have had more stakes if they had done a better job of building up the villains as well, instead of just being like name drop henchmen. Like, oh, okay, so the Malfoys, great. Yeah, Narcissa Malfoy, sure. Like, whatever.
Yeah, right.
Like, okay, so if you recognize their last name, they're important people, but it's way different than the books where they actually get a chance to, interact and actually have characterizations. So when they do things, although I will say Bellatrix Lestrange, they did a good job with. I think that was a good character. But yeah, for the most part, the Death Eaters were just kind of like anonymous. It's like, okay, there's Lucius Malfoy, got it, and there's Bellatrix, and that's Sarge over there. So.
Damn it, you beat me to it. Yeah. So see, look, Kale didn't know this. He says, "Oh, Greyback bit Lupin." Well, there you go. Yeah,
there you go.
There you go. Oh, Kung Pao. I haven't watched that in a long time. I gotta put that in.
I feel like in our show's description, like the whole podcast, we just need to have like a movie list. Like if you haven't seen these movies, you won't get half the shit they talk about.
Or we just have overlays. Like that last reference was from Anchorman. That last reference was from Kung Pao Enter the Fist.
Right.
Yeah. So I feel like in the movies it was a little more important to have like another named Death Eater, especially because in the novels, like Fenrir Greyback was just absolutely vicious. Like, I mean, like worse than Bellatrix Lestrange, at least to me, because it basically.
Oh yeah, he was downright feral.
Yeah, I mean, just didn't give a shit about nothing. He's like, I just want to bite people and rip their faces off, and that's it, So
yeah, utterly unrepentant.
Joe, I mean, it was one big chunk. So good. I mean, that's his stomach plug there on the ground. Oh my God, Kung Pao Enter the Fist. That's the reference, Kill. It's hilarious.
I mean, I'm no doctor, but that doesn't even seem possible.
There's a watch along we should do. Just find a way to get everybody in on it. They're like, what in the hell are we watching? Like, it's Kung Pao, dude. If you haven't seen it, you're missing out. Like, trust me, it's hilarious. Until you get to the
terrible
end.
recording, but a great hangout. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. So, all right.
So okay. Before we wrap up, I know we're coming up on time.
Any final thoughts from you before we kind of like?
Yeah. I think we got one more topic we have to cover. And it's funny because the
Okay.
movie we did the same mistake the movie made, which is completely glossed over the Half-Blood Prince.
Yes.
This is, I mean, there's a lot of Snape's story in this, right? Like this is a lot of backstory to his character. So I have my own reservations about where the story went in the larger scale of things, but do you feel like this book did a good job of, I don't know, fleshing out his character or helping people between the backstory of how he was like harassed by, Lupin and Tonks and, Wormtail and come on. The fourth one, whatever.
Yeah.
There were four of them.
The fourth guy.
James.
Whatever Zeppo.
Yeah. Anyway, how he was, bullied while he was a student at Hogwarts was like one bit of, softening of his character. And then you get this whole backstory about the Half-Blood Prince and how he was actually a very accomplished student and, had all these notes and stuff. Like, do you feel like this helped set the stage for his role in the final events of Deathly Hallows?
Yeah, I do. I think what it does is it shows that he's not just kind of like a spy. I guess I guess is the term I would use. I think he
was really stuck in the middle playing both sides, so he really was a spy.
He was a double agent or whatever,
He was alleged to be a spy for both sides by the other side.
Yeah. No, I think like we talked about, I think it's one of those things that they omitted that kind of was important, and I think they should not have cut because it shows why, number one, he is as important as he is to Dumbledore, but also to Voldemort. He's not just okay. Well, he was the most fervent Death Eater or the craziest one like Bellatrix. It's like no, he creates his own potions, or at least perfects ones that are already there. Mm-hmm. He creates his own spells that are pretty damn violent. That Sectum Sempra, sorry, has like well, not going to work here anymore in any case. But there's Office Space. We should count how many movies we reference in each episode and have a little counter at the top. Like just keep going up. Like, damn, they quoted 13 movies tonight. Yeah, I think those things were important to his character because it really fleshed out his importance and his strength, I think. Because up until that point, you just kind of saw him as like the slimy teacher who is he a good guy, is he a bad guy? You don't know which side he's actually playing for. But after that, after this one, you kind of go, all right, he's not your average bear. And so I think it was definitely I loved it in the novel. I loved how it just came out to be him. I loved the explanation of it. And again, like, I mean, we basically started the show with it, for him just going, yeah, I'm the Half-Blood Prince at the end. And that's all like, well, what good is that? That's kind of stupid. So I think it's important to the character, very much so. What do you think?
I agree. I think Chastity has a really great point here. Like making the spell while in school, like it's one thing to be like an accomplished student and be able to master all these things, but to be at the student level, not a professor or like a full blown wizard at that point, and already be inventing potions and spells and like that's like next level kind of shit right there. So
yeah,
I think it was very important to explain because, like you said, he was really like a nuisance. He was like a nuisance character, almost like a Starscream to Megatron kind of thing, where he's just an evil henchman.
Yep,
who kind of shows up a lot because he's got chutzpah,
yes.
And this finally fleshed out like, okay, he has a reason for being there. He belongs in the upper echelons of like power levels of characters in this world. And I think that's super important. And it also really explains exactly how torn he was having to be the one to actually kill Dumbledore, which was just bonkers.
Yeah.
I can't believe I forgot that when you asked me the Dumbledore question. Was like, I kind of thought Draco might be able to go through with it, and then like the Kylo Ren thing where and a deed split your soul and blah blah blah. But no, like Draco couldn't because he's not a killer. Snape isn't really either, but he could make the hard play when he had to.
Yeah. No,
And
that's
really overlooked. Is like it wasn't like, oh yeah, he's a bad guy and he killed Dumbledore when he had the chance. It's like, no, as you'll find out, spoiler for the next book, that was the plan.
yeah. And I still have to get that plan down. Like, admittedly, the whole Dumbledore's whole big involved plan, plot, whatever thing is it's a little involved, and I fully confess that I'm not 100%. I don't 100% understand it, but
I'm looking forward to rewatching that and rereading that because, yeah, it seems like there's a bit of retconning going on. There's a lot of gymnastics to make that plot come together.
yeah, I mean it works, but I mean Chastity Crawley. I mean, good point. She says double reason he did it was part of the unbreakable vow too. Yeah, I think that was, and I think that's what it was. Is like when because you're in a magical world, Chaz. I think when they did the whole unbreakable vow thing, I was like, okay, how are they going to get around this? Because you're like, okay.
That's why it was hard to believe that Dumbledore was actually dead, or Cedric for that matter, because we've seen them use like Skelegro, so apparently breaking a bone, no big deal. You can shape shift from an animal to a person. You do all this other crazy stuff, but there's just some stuff that you just can't undo. And
maybe they should have tried Corpso Reparo.
Maybe they should have used a time turner.
Oh boy, here we go. Oh no, here we go. AJ's biggest bugaboo with Harry Potter, the time turner.
Hey, if it's good enough to use so Hermione can take extra subjects. Now, if they had tied that back in and Hermione somehow saved the friggin' day in book 7 because of all this extra shit she learned in year 3, all right. But the hell? She gets to take a double class load, but Dumbledore dying, let's not reverse that. And I know that the explanation, we'll get to it next time, is probably something like, I'm channeling my inner Chastity here. He had to die to motivate Harry to be able to do what he did. It's going to be something like that. It's going to be one of these, like, everything would have unraveled if Dumbledore didn't die. Okay.
See, these the last 2 episodes of our show, doing this series, they're going to be very philosophical, I feel like. So yeah, I don't know. I guess
know how we feel about time travel on this show. We've talked about it.
Yeah. Oh, very true. Very true. If it's not Back to the Future, then we got a little bit of an issue.
I mean, they saved the fucking hippogriff, but they wouldn't save the headmaster of Hogwarts with it.
Oh, that's what Chaz said. She said, let's use it to save Buckbeak, but not the Potters.
Yeah.
Not Dumbledore.
Not Dumbledore.
But here's the thing. If they did that, all it would be like Terminator, where you're like, we're gonna go back and we're gonna save Sarah Connor. Okay, now we're gonna save John Connor. Let's go back further. No, now we're gonna go back and just keep going back and going back and going back.
Hey, wait, John Connor's a bad guy because he wait, what?
Yeah. What? Huh?
Who's a robot? Who's not?
Exactly. Yeah. No, the one thing I will say, back to the unbreakable vow, we can get out of here in a minute, but I think that when you really look back on it, the unbreakable vow thing, I think it's pretty clear that he did that because he knew he had to kill Dumbledore. So it wasn't like the unbreakable vow was anything that he wouldn't be able to go through with. It wasn't like, oh my God, like he was like, I'll help Draco. And by
I'm gonna go back and reread the book. Fuck. Because is it possible that because of the unbreakable vow, he had to kill Dumbledore?
No,
Like
the
he was
unbreakable.
compelled by the vow.
No, the vow was to help Draco. It wasn't anything to do with. But but
That's what I'm
he
saying, though, is like he couldn't have like overtly chosen to kill Dumbledore, but the vow compelled him to help Draco.
I mean, I guess so, but it was either Draco was going to kill him or Snape was going to kill him, and since Snape knew that he had to do it himself, the unbreakable vow basically meant nothing. He wasn't going to get in trouble for breaking because there's nothing to break.
Okay.
Yeah, Chaz says the vow mentions him killing Dumbledore. Yeah. So. Yep. Yeah. So, I mean, I think that's, where it is.
See, this is the problem with skimming on your research was, watching the movie is one thing, but if we're going to compare the book to the movie, I should probably get through the book too.
I didn't have time to get through all of it, so I went pretty quick through sections of the audiobook and actually reading the physical copy. And so, well, my e-reader, but who's counting? Still words.
I was going to say, I'm on my phone for a good reason here. I'm looking up the runtime of the audiobook version of Half-Blood Prince.
Oh, they're like 20 plus.
Yeah. So basically, as soon as we announce an episode, we better get reading because we're not going to have it done in time.
Yeah. Well, one of the things I like to do, and we'll close up shop after this, but one of the things that I do when we're doing this, like I'll put in the audiobook and I own them all in my e-reader. Mm-hmm. So I'll start reading, and where I leave off in like I use my e-reader at lunch at work, for example. When I'm eating, I read. And so I'll read like a couple chapters at work and then get in the car and put the audiobook on where I left off at work, listen all the way home. Then I'll read at home where I left off. So it's like it basically like you're kind of going through it pretty quickly. So, but since you don't drive nearly as much as I do,
True.
You don't really have that.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, darn. Working from home.
What a crying shame. Oh, boy. All right. Well, on that note, why don't we close up shop for the evening? That was a very spirited discussion.
Sounds good, my friend.
So awesome discussion as always. We were completely ridiculous as usual and went off the rails for a minute. So there we go. Hopefully I didn't offend anybody with my dislike of remakes or Wicked or anything like that. That Ebenezer movie can go straight to hell. So we'll say that. That one I will die on that hill. So yeah. There we go. So before we get out of here, we do have to plug an event here real quick. So let me see if we pull this up here. There we go. All right. So this event will be happening a week from this Friday at Rebel ScumCon. We, of course, are talking about Boonta Eve Special Edition Texas 2 Electric Boogaloo, presented by the Virtual Cantina Network. It will be at the Revel Patio Grill at 9305 Preston Road in Frisco, Texas. Ticket prices: adults are $35, kids under 12 are $30 with a paid adult. VIP tickets are $50, and those include early entry, line skipping, priority seating, and special swag. They will have meet and greets, rounds of sabacc, courtesy of our friends at Hyperspace Props, and also live band karaoke. It also features full bar and full food menu as well, so make sure to check that out. It is brought to you by the sponsor of Electric Boogaloo 2. It is New Hampshire LASIK Associates, the official sponsor of Boonta Eve Texas 2. See the galaxy in a whole new way. So make sure to check that out. That is a week from Friday. And again, it will be an awesome, awesome event. Our good friend Spencer sets those up, and he does an absolutely killer job with them. So make sure to go check that out if you are going to Rebel ScumCon. So
I have a plug too. Also, Friday, August 7th, if you're not in Texas and you're in Ohio, you can go to America's Rock and Roller Coast, Sandusky, Ohio, and see the preeminent cover band out of Lima, Ohio, Brother Believe Me, playing at the Bourbon Barrel Room.
No, not the Bourbon Barrel Room, Barrel House Saloon.
Sorry, Barrel House Saloon.
Yes.
From 8 to midnight. And shout out to Haley there in the chat. It's her birthday that day, so we're going to be there rocking out with one half of this show up on the stage being far more talented than the other half that's sitting in the audience. And yeah.
Man, that's awesome. Thank you for promoting it. Yes, my band Brother Believe Me will be playing in Sandusky, Ohio from 8 p.m. to midnight at the Barrel House Saloon on Friday, August 7th. So come hang out if you are in the area. It's a good show, mostly. The lead singer is chubby and acts like a goof, but what are you going to do? Get what you pay for. And it's free. It's free entry. So there you go.
You can play a little game. Go to Cedar Point, go see the show, and figure out which one makes you throw up more.
Yeah. It's true. It's very true, man. Awesome. Well, thank you for the plug. So yeah, now that we got our plugs in, I want to thank everybody for hanging out again tonight. It's great to see everyone. Of course, our resident Harry Potter expert, Chastity Crawley. Great to see you. Cale McLeish, our good buddy. Billy Judd. Of course, we've got Joseph Wren. We've got John Phillips. Haley, it was great to quote unquote meet you finally. So thank all you guys for tuning in the chat as always. We're going to be back here on Wednesday, August 12th at 8 p.m. Eastern time. So tune back in and hang out with us. As always, guys, we are brought to you by Audible. Go to audibletrial.com/NHC for your 30-day trial and a free audiobook download. As we did mention on the show, if you are a Harry Potter fan and you do audiobooks, check out the full cast versions. I believe all of them are out now, at least most of them. Definitely check one of them out. They do a fantastic job. It's basically like listening to a movie. I know it's not AJ's cup of tea, but I think they've done an absolutely killer job. So that's very cool to listen to. So once again, guys, if you are watching on our YouTube channel or that of the Virtual Cantina Network, make sure that you are clicking the like button and the subscribe button and hitting that notification bell so that you are notified every time we go live. For some awesome Virtual Cantina Network swag, go to tpublic.com/user/virtual-cantina. And for some amazing customizable Nerfherder Council swag, just go to shop.nerfherdercouncil.com. So until next time, guys, I am your host, JT. He is AJ.
Firing up that Nerfherder Council Discord server once again. That is discord.nerfherdercouncil.com. Let's talk some Spider-Man Brand New Day, which I'll be going to see tomorrow. And maybe we'll talk about that on an upcoming podcast as well. What do you say?
Works for me, man.
All right.
All right, guys. Until next time, we'll see you later. And watch this, AJ. Check this out. Ready? You ready? You ready, AJ?
Maybe.
Find
out.